So today we're going to do a roasted chicken. So welcome back. Make sure that you have parent permission and you're doing this under supervision of your parents. And as I said before, we're going to do roasted chicken, so make sure you have all of your ingredients available to you. I'm using a 12-inch cast iron to roast the chicken in. So before we begin, I'm going to reach inside the cavity of the chicken and remove the innards. Basically, this is the neck. It has the liver, the heart, and I'm going to go ahead and discard that because we're not going to actually cook with that. And remember, chicken is full of bacteria, so you want to make sure that you're washing your hands and keeping your work surfaces clean throughout the process of working with raw meats and chickens like that. So there are two schools of thoughts when it comes to working with raw chicken. One, you either wash your chicken, or two, you don't wash your chicken. Now, recent home chefs and food scientists are saying not to roast the chicken because it does spread bacteria, but do whatever your parents would like you to do within their home environment. So I'm going to baste the chicken with some olive oil, about 2 tablespoons worth, and then I'm going to season it with some garlic powder. And you'll see that I have washed my hands. I'm going to season it with a little onion powder, about 1 tablespoon worth, salt and pepper, and that's about 1 tablespoon of black pepper to 1 teaspoon of kosher salt is what I'm using. Table salt can be a little bit more saltier, so you gotta be careful. And then I'm taking 1 whole lemon, I cut it in half, and I'm going to stuff it into the cavity of the chicken. I've preheated my oven to 375, and this is a big old chicken, so this is going to take a lot longer than the average chicken would. So I'm going to be checking in on it every hour. But I'm estimating this is going to take about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to cook. You do want to cook it until it reaches 165 in its thickest part, which would be in between this area, which is the breast and the thigh meat. So we'll insert an instant read thermometer there when we are finished cooking. So we're going to go ahead and place this in the oven. And as I said, the oven has already been preheated to 375. As I said before, after working with raw poultry, we're going to use a disinfectant wipe to clean our work surfaces. I happen to have Clorox wipes. You can use bleach water to disinfect your work surfaces. And this is a really good practice just to kind of get into. And this is going to help prevent what we call cross-contamination. So if we're working on another task that involves raw veggies or like a salad, then we prevent that from occurring. So at this stage, what I'm going to do is just take some of these juices out at the bottom of the pan. And I'm just going to baste our chicken, and that's just going to help it stay moist during the cooking process. And you want to do this several times throughout the cooking process. And again, this is called basting. This is one of our cooking terms that we'll get into as we progress further into Foods 1. We can also, we refer to these as juices or pan drippings. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this back into the oven and allow it to continue to cook. Now the chicken is going to rest about 10 to 15 minutes, allowing the juices to redistribute throughout it. So that way we have a moist bird when we're ready to serve. At this stage in the cooking process, again, we're going to go back and rebaste the chicken. You notice that the chicken has come with a probe that tells us when it's ready, but it's always best to check using a Insta-Read thermometer, again, between the thickest part. I'm going to move our camera so you can see it. We're going to hold it there for 10 to 15 seconds to make sure that we're at the correct temperature. And you want to cook poultry until it reaches 165. So we're reading at 185. We're going to go back. We're going to baste our chicken again. And at this stage in the game, the chicken is completely cooked. I'm going to take the temperature one more place here in the breast part. While I'm still basting. And so if you can cook a bird like this, then you can help out with Thanksgiving planning with your family if you do the holidays. Alright, so we're going to begin carving up our chicken. We're going to start in between the thigh and the breast area. And it's cooked tender. So we have our leg. And then we'll find our bone. And there's a joint in between the carcass. Ideally, you don't want to touch it. But here's the joint right here between the thigh and the leg. And then you cut that. And you see how tender this chicken is. And then you can remove that. Detach the skin. Again, we've allowed enough time for it to rest. And then we're going to go and remove our wing. Cutting on the joint again. Just look how tender this chicken is. We remove our wing, and I have a platter set off to the side. And then we remove our breast like so. Leaving our skin attached. And what I'm going to do, and you repeat that same steps on the other side. And then with your breast, you cut into different pieces. So that way, if you have other individuals who want breast meat, everybody has an opportunity to have breast meat. Now, isn't that really simple, ladies and gentlemen? The more you do it, the easier it becomes.